I'm ready.
Good afternoon. Today is June 6, 2013, and like I said, welcome to the Love, Unity, Patience Project. A lot of things I want to cover today, so I want to get started. But first and foremost, let me again say there is no greater issue or challenge facing Black America than the level of violence that's plaguing our communities across this nation. Okay? Please keep that in mind. But we're going to get back to that. Another subject that I touched on last time that I spoke, the habit of Black men calling women, hey man, this, how you doing, man, what's going on, man? I'm going to say this about that, and then I'm going to just let you Black men think about this. Remember Eldridge Cleaver's words years ago. Our women are our queens, mothers, daughters, sisters of our soul, Black brides of our passion, our eternal love, Black women. And we want to always accent our women's femininity. So when you address a Black woman as, hey man, what's going on, man, how you doing, man, it detracts from her femininity. And as I said before, don't beat yourself up if you have a bad habit. Black people, we don't take constructive criticism very well. I think this is part of our history, but if you know you have a bad habit, you know it. No one has to tell you. We all have bad habits. So if you just ask yourself, what is the benefit of me addressing a Black woman with the noun, what's going on, man, how you doing, man, what time is it, man, where are you going, man? Can you just, in your mind, substitute the word man, say, what's going on, girl, lady, because that's what they are. And just think about it for a second, brothers. Suppose our women start calling us out of our gender. For example, your woman looks at you one day and say, what's going on, girl? That would fit, right? Strong Black men. You say, why? Who you calling girl? I'm not a girl. Let's take that the same and reverse it. She's not a man. So, as I mentioned many times before, all of the negative things that were put in place years ago to make us feel less than human. You couldn't vote, go to the back of the bus, you couldn't go in certain stores. As time went on, all these things were, the blatant racism went to subtle racism. And all the things that were put in place years ago to keep us from not feeling good about ourselves have passed to the sense that we have accepted them. It's like we are tacit participants in our own demise. We're like destroying ourselves and we don't seem to see that. All these murders each and every day, they are really taking a toll on the Black community, and I don't think we are focusing on them as we should. So to sum up what I'm saying about this is a very bad habit that we Black men have picked up, that we need to try our best to stop calling our woman with the noun man. And remember, she's a feminine woman, and we need to try to always accent her femininity and not address her as, hey man. So we can work on that, Let's just be conscious of that and ask yourself every time that you do it, say to yourself, now why am I addressing her like that? There's nothing manly about this lady. It's just a slang that we've picked up, and we need to try to drop, okay? All right. The next subject, again, as I said many times before, as you know, a parent's worst nightmare is to lose their child, to bury their child. But in the Black communities all across this nation, it's commonplace. It's coming to commonplace. Perfect example, I try to keep the count of how many lives were lost. And as of, I think the last time I wrote something down was like the 22nd of last month. Since that time, there have been 19 people that I know about, Black people, just senselessly killed. Again, that's 19 mothers or families that just devastated. I know everyone is like at a loss of what can we do to curb this violence and again get on a positive road to more love, unity, and patience among Black people. Again, it's the history. If we think about where we've come from and the road that our ancestors had to travel to get to this point, I think we can start personally to make some changes. He was a politician, and I think he's in the city council. In any case, he came up with the idea to round up a bunch of gangbangers. That's not a solution at all. That's counterproductive in this sense. Like the saying goes, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. These people are not terrorists or anything. They're our children. They're just lost and don't understand the history of what's happening to them. And if you round up a bunch of gangbangers, you put them in jail before you get there, there's some more to take place. You've seen these kids. They're 7, 8, 9 shorties already throwing up gang signs, talking that way. So my point is, picking up people and arresting them is not the answer. Education. Let them know why they act the way they do. You know, it's not an accident that we lead the nation continually each year in murders, violence, our juveniles arrested. This is not an accident. And all the things that people do each and every day to help us, to lessen the violence, to make our communities better, it doesn't resonate as it should. You know, people out every day, the marches, the speeches, the CAP programs, the signs, people really are concerned. But the reason, in my opinion, it has not resonated enough is because we have not added the history that we live as a people. Our ancestors, the history is the key. Again, I don't know how it can be done. I have some ideas. But what we need to do, along with all the other positive things that are being done, is to somehow incorporate our history to every aspect of our lives, in our schools, in our communities, in different centers, or just about anywhere you go. We need to start talking more and more about the journey that we as a people came from 1863 to emancipation, when we were first, black people were first emancipated, until the present. All of the injustices, we need to dwell on them, to talk about them, and somehow keep that in everyone's mind as we move forward and try to bring more love, unity, and patience to our people. Now, again, having said that, I'm appealing to everyone, no matter what your walk is in life. Again, I've said this before. I know it's a redundancy, but again, I can't say that enough. We need some redundancy, and that's how you keep things in mind, is going over again and again. So regardless if you're a banker, a bus driver, a salesman, a lawyer, teacher, preacher, whatever, we must focus on our common denominator, and that's we're all descendants of slaves. No matter what, and we have to get out of our comfort zone, which is not easy. Everybody has a comfort zone, you know. I got out of my comfort zone to do this, and I'm not an out front person. I'm not one to feel comfortable speaking to people. But my wife said to me some time ago, perhaps the good Lord put it on your heart to say this. Now, I don't mean to say that I'm the only one that's out here trying to make a difference. There's people out here every day putting their life, safety, and time on the line to help us heal and feel better about each other and treat each other better. But again, it has not resonated as it should. It's just, as I said, too many murders. Think about it. If we have that level of murders, as I said, 19 people gone, what, a couple, 3 weeks? And this is happening in many places all across this nation. So what I'm asking, we must find some common ground to focus on this, to focus on the way our children act, to focus on all of the negative things that we do that are not good, to move forward as a people, and to grow as a nation. We need to start talking about that. All of the good things that people do each and every day to help make things better for us, I don't think it resonates as it should, because we're too fragmented. They have this, people over here doing this, these doing that. Now, again, we need the one common denominator. We're descendants of slaves. And somehow or other, we need to put some rhetoric, curriculum, some strategy together to help these young kids. These are our future, these children. And a lot of them out here really lost, in the sense that a lot of these kids that's out here wilding, as they call it, a lot of them really don't want to do this. They don't really have a way to try to get away from it. My point being, if you're swimming upstream, everyone's swimming upstream, and all of a sudden you try to turn around and swim downstream, they'll just run you over. So again, as I said before, the peer pressure on these children is really tremendous. So all I'm asking is, can we find a way, along with all the other positive things that are being done each and every day by dedicated people out here, can we find a way to put the history, it's American history, and you know, people say, why are you bringing that up? That's in the past. Slavery is over. No, slavery's not over. We went from physical slavery to mental slavery. And I think most people feel this way. You know, I talk to people each and every day, and a lot of people are really frustrated, and they really don't know. You know, you talk about it's so sad what these children are doing, the level of violence. I've had guys tell me, man, I don't even stand at the bus stop. I'm not going to be no moving target. Our communities are under siege, and to get out of this, I believe we need to talk about the violence that's going on. How can we put some strategy together to start loving each other more? And I believe we can do this if we really think about the fact of all the hardships, again, that our ancestors went through to get to this point. So to sum up, what I'm asking is, can we find a way to unify in the sense of getting on the same page to talk about the murders and the violence and the level of fighting that these kids do each and every day, and the juveniles that are just throwing their lives away before they even realize who they are. Another very important point, as you all know, is the music. Music is very instrumental and strong in people's lives, and I really believe that a lot of these negative lyrics that are coming from a lot of rappers, they don't think about the fact that perhaps somebody in your family wouldn't really like what you're doing. Do you know anything about your history? Who was your great-great-great-grandmother? Do you know what happened to you in your particular situation, your family? My point being that we have to personalize this. You have to think about yourself. Am I really satisfied the way I'm treating other people and the way I'm being treated? Here's a good example to really help you do this. Pretend that you were in college or school and your teacher gave you an assignment. And the assignment was going to the black community as an observer and just try to see and watch the people and how they interact with each other. And ask yourself, am I really satisfied with our communities and the way we interact and treat one another? Can we love each other more? What can I do to bring more love, unity, and patience among black people all over this nation? Because we are in a crisis situation. I really feel that. And if we don't somehow find a way to focus on this problem, then I really shudder to think where we will be as a nation of people, say 15, 20 years from now. We must find a way to turn this around and make that love connection that we seem to have lost. And again, we can only do this by talking about our history. Perfect example, I don't know why it hasn't been resonated more as far as strategy to bring more love, unity, and patience, but we're not dwelling with why not. We're just moving forward. I'm thinking about, here's another good point. Sometimes you see the authorities, they'll bust a bunch of drugs, and they'll say they round up so many gangbangers and put them in jail. My point being, they need education, because before they get the gangbangers that they pick up in jail, here's some more that take their place. It's a mental thing. It's a mindset. So again, we have to, it may be unpleasant. It may be hard to talk about, but the dislike and self-hate that we as a people manifest in our communities, we can do something about this, but we must acknowledge that we have a problem with loving each other and unity. That's all we have to do. Admit we have a problem and discuss it. So as I close, I just want to say, I'm asking each and every one, again, no matter what your walk is in life, can you, whoever you are, looking at this, find a way to bring more love, unity, and patience to your immediate surroundings, and how can we let that resonate all across this nation to people? Now, having said that, any ideas would be great, but how can you bring more love, unity, and patience to black people all over this nation? And if you have some suggestions, that's great, but remember, we're moving forward. We're making observations and trying to grow and bring more love to us as a people. So again, let's together bring more love, unity, and patience all across this nation. And so I'm going to hopefully send this somewhere for other people to be seen in other places, and somehow we can come with a common platform to work on this, because again, I really feel it's an epidemic of proportions. Think about that. How many people we lose each and every day, and the ramifications to these families and all the other resources and communities that this is draining. We really need to find a way to talk about loving each other more, and I feel that we can do that with our history. God bless, and hopefully we'll be back on here soon in the next few days, because this is really something that we all need to keep ever mindful of as we go through the day. God bless.